Well, good afternoon, friends. Bill here with SFOI.org. Hope you're having a good week. We're having a good one here. And Lord willing, 8 of us are going to be headed towards Paris starting Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Summer Olympics. It's kind of hard to imagine if you're not really paying attention how excited the world gets about the Olympics, but they do. I think the modern Olympics started in 1896 in Paris. And so it's a central city in this whole movement. I think there's some element of, trying to sort of bring peace to the world. Heath, how you doing? These kind of humanitarian things that have come along with the Olympics. And so there's lots of motivations. People are there, but nevertheless, Lord willing, will be there. And we'll be there. There's some other groups there. I know Warren and Darlene Marquardt are going with a group that we went to the Olympics in Rio with before. And I think Ray Comfort's going to be there at least one day. I can't imagine them flying over there for one day. They must be sticking around as well. And then I think Campus Crusades over there doing something. Actually, I also had a friend of mine in Atlanta, Reed Lamphere. Reed was a chaplain to athletes. He was a wrestler, I think a college wrestler. And I think that was his main group of guys. But I think he was with Athletes in Action. So there's a lot of Christian ministry that goes on at these events. That's the point. And so while we're standing out there by the Arc de Triomphe or the Champs-Élysées or something, preaching in English or broken French, there's probably a lot of other things happening out there. So pray for our travels there and back. I don't really anticipate being chaos like social media wants you to believe, but, just don't know. So I've been there once before, quite a while ago, 2007, and it worked out good. Met some neat people, and one other thing about being over there in Europe, in England, is that you just meet different kinds of Christians. They're from different countries, and it's encouraging to meet Christians from other nations. And those European nations, they attract people from other parts of the world, and so you can meet people from all over. So it should be a lot of fun, Lord willing. And then in August, DNC convention, Scott Smith, Tom Rayburn are going to go to Chicago. That should be a lot of fun. And then Alex Burke, Joe Henson are having the first SFI 1000 football fellowship and training in Las Vegas, August 16 to 18 as well. So got some good stuff going on. We're rolling the football season. The Super Bowl this year is in New Orleans, and we're having the team leaders retreat Labor Day weekend. It should be a lot of fun down there Labor Day weekend because we do what we normally do. And when we do the Super Bowl outreach training is get together, get to know each other, talk about the topics and so forth. But New Orleans is hosting Southern Decadence that weekend, and that should be a wild time. So we're going to get a baptism of fire into the Southern Decadence, the French Quarter, and stuff like that. So it should be fun. Hey, today, though, we're talking about the Music City Grand Prix with Ben Gonzales, so we're going to bring him on and get an update on that. Ben, good morning, good afternoon.
Morning, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Good.
Well, you look relaxed there at home?
Yeah, just getting my day started. I work a little bit later shift, so kind of the beginning of the day for me. I'll go a little later than most people, though. So
cool.
But yeah, so just hanging out.
What's the guitar? Can you show me the guitar? Where you play? Isn't that what you got recently? You got a new guitar?
Oh, it's over there in the case, but yeah, I've just got a couple over here where I keep my other ones, just so they're easy to kind of grab whenever I'm playing and all that. So
do you sit at the desk there and seriously come up with? Does your mind start working and writing hymns or?
Well, I haven't been really writing hymns, but yeah, this is where if I'm gonna write, just sit here in my office and do that. So.
Well, cool. So now we talked before, but you're from Texas. You came to Nashville to to be a songwriter and so forth, get in the business, so to speak, which is probably apart from guys like me, country music and all these things. We know them through the radio or whatever they use these days, but the music business is quite elaborate operation. Songwriters, producers, all that stuff, right?
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, elaborate a little bit on about the depth of. In other words, like we get this, we get a song on the phone. What has gone into it? The people, like how many people are typically involved in, and something like that.
Well, I mean, and here in Nashville, it'd be on a larger scale. But when I was back in Texas, I was doing everything independently. But I mean, here, I mean, obviously, you're going to have whoever wrote, the writers of the song, and then you're going to have obviously producers, engineers, things of that nature in the studio, and then and after that, I mean, you're going to have. I don't even know what all goes into. See, I didn't have any of that, but all the marketing and
Right.
everything else, and the district, well, yeah, the distribution and all that stuff. I mean, it's just some massive amounts of time, people behind the scenes, and then when they go on tour, obviously you got road managers and just you know obviously bus drivers and stuff like that. But you just, I mean, I don't know, it's a whole bunch, but um,
So
takes a lot of money to get out and promote it and stuff like that, obviously, and or a lot of people is what I mean. So
how, like, that's a good point. We're going to go somewhere with this. How, like, promoting an artist or a song, that's I mean, to get people to start buying your stuff in a large quantity, would you say that's an expensive investment through the marketing and production and so forth?
I would think so, and I always wondered about this too. Like you've got people pulling strings, obviously somewhere. So like somebody that's not on a record label, obviously doesn't get the push and stuff to get on. I mean, you see somebody that's like a complete nobody, and then they got a record label all of a sudden, and you got all these people doing. They got this, like I said, they got these connections, I guess, and the next thing you know, they're on the Late Show. David Letterman, or on Good Morning America and things like that. So I guess that's the whole purpose of having a deal and a label and all that stuff. Of course, obviously they're getting a cut too. I never personally had a record deal or nothing like that. I moved here to mainly write,
Good.
but I was kind of looking into wanting to be an artist. Um, but I mean, it just you know got saved, and it's all kind of history now. Um, but I think anybody that usually does it independently is obviously doing it um, for creativeness. They can make their own decisions and things like that. But obviously, um, you're not going to have the push that you did before, or you know anything like that. So
What would you say, like it seems like just over the years listening to music and stuff, you have guys like I remember I was listening to Eric Clapton. I mean, this is a long time ago, and that all the purists were mad at Eric Clapton for selling out. I'm not sure what he did, but the selling out. You're attracting people. You're a talented musician, and then you, I guess, sell out. That means you get another label. So to me, that sounds like you have kind of a couple of camps. You have the purist camp, and you have the guys that want to be big time. So do you find if a guy wants to be big time, if you know the answer to this question, have they actually sold out, or have they really compromised, or have they just tried to do what they do naturally and appeal to a broader market? You have any insight into that?
yeah, I would think it just kind of depend. I honestly, there's a lot of artists that I actually prefer their records. Um, like they may have been on labels either before or after they started, but or I guess they were either independent first and then were on a major label, or they were on a major label and then they went independent. And a lot of times I actually like the albums where they're on major labels. I don't know why that is.
Really?
I don't think some. Yeah, I mean, um, you can just see the change. I don't know. There's something about this town and the musicians and the production and everything. There's something about it. Like I said, so I don't want to necessarily call them sellouts or anything like that. Me and I had a guy put a pickup in my guitar, uh, put some electronics in it the other day, and he's a guitar builder here in town. He doesn't live far from here, and I thought I was just going to go drop off the guitar Saturday, and I showed up and I wasn't prepared. He's like, "Yeah, we'll just put it in. It won't take long." And I was there for like 4 hours. Me and this guy just talking about everything, and I asked him if he knew a certain songwriter, and he knew him. And make a long story short, I left him a track, but I didn't get all the way into the gospel with him. But we were able to talk a little bit about morality and stuff like that. He's a non-believer, an admitting non-believer. Um, but we were talking, and I had said something about we were talking about Bruce Springsteen. He played a song that him and his band had recorded, that this guitar maker, him and his band had recorded, and I noticed it was a old Bruce Springsteen cover. And I asked him, I can't remember the name of the song, but I asked him about it, and he says, yeah, he says I actually prefer Springsteen when he did like the Nebraska record versus when he was the E Street Band and stuff. And I agreed with him. And it's just one of those things we kind of agree. And I think Bruce Springsteen was on a major label at that time, but it was just earlier on.
Uh-oh. I'll be back. Hang on. Give us a second. Larry, how you doing? Let's see, we get him back. Give just a second here. He'll be back here in a minute. Cool. Heath, still there? Oh, let's see what we got here. Yes. Oh, there we go.
Well, yeah, I could hear you and everything just fine, but I wasn't there. So I don't know what happened.
All right, keep going.
So anyway, we were talking about the Springsteen Nebraska record, and he was saying how much he liked that Springsteen versus him and the E Street Band and all that, and we just kind of agreed on that. I'm just using that as an example, like you know, there's certain. I mean, he was on a major label at that time. I don't know a lot about Springsteen. I'm not the biggest fan, but I do like his writing and stuff for sure. But anyway, just kind of using that as an example, I think it's just your preference on how that goes. But no, I don't think people are sellouts just because they. So I mean, I guess you can kind of blatantly see it sometimes that people have, especially if their music just completely changes or something like that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
That's interesting. You know, in our world, so to speak, you have like I think a lot of guys like us are purists. You know, that we.
Well, look at Dylan, Bob Dylan. They were calling him Judas whenever he was going electric. I don't know if you remember that, but
no, I didn't know that really.
yeah, they were mad about him. And then he came out with a series of Christian records in the early '80s, and boy, they were really mad at him about that one too. So there were actually some really good songs in there too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I found him on. Somebody told me that maybe it was my dad that he was on. He was on YouTube, and I think they took him off. But that's pretty interesting.
I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like in our life, like it doesn't really happen. Like we don't, get converted because we're purists and preach because of that. But what happens is in the way that our trajectory of our life works out, we are purists about gospel preaching. And Puritans, that's why we're attracted to Puritans because we're purists. I'm not making fun. It's just really it's very interesting, and it's a good thing and a bad thing because it can be it can be a stumbling block a little bit because we you just, if it's not a pure response, we started examining everybody from this really, really exacting purist perspective. What I'm driving at though is really, I think, and this is relating to the race, is really like the need. We sometimes miss just really how human nature is, the old man, and the real big need to get out there and preach a lot. That's kind of what I'm getting at, because we have this pure view. Like if you take the music industry, these guys, they have to spend the money to get their name out there and saturate the radio stations. I mean, there's no other way to do it, right? But a purist is going to say, oh, that's a waste of this or that, whatever you had to do this or that to go big time. And so, but that's necessary. That's the way it works. You just can't do it otherwise. And then so you see my point. So I think in our mindset, we really need to we need to really sort of tap a little bit more in the reality of human life, like those guys that go big time, so to speak. And in other words, and let that drive you to preach more. To me, that's the culminating reality. What I'm getting at is that there's a reality in the gospel ministry that sometimes we sort of ignore, and one of those is you need to be out there a lot, because of the way people are. See my point? And
yes, sir.
I think that's what's really interesting, because those guys, they pay a price for going big time. I lived in Nashville for a while. You remember the Bluebird Cafe? You know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Green Hills. I lived in Green Hills, and I remember I just went down there once or twice. But I remember, that was the place, where they went down and played the solo acts, whatever. But you can play at the Bluebird Cafe, or you can go big time. I mean, it's kind of an interesting dynamic, and so I think we don't want to go big time ourselves, but we want the gospel to go big time, so to speak. And that really takes a real commitment in the human realm is what I'm driving at. You see my point? You agree with me?
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's kind of, I was thinking, in comparison to it's sort of similar to just the modern church as well. We want the gospel to go forward, but people are going to, the message of the cross is foolishness to those that are perishing, right? And it's all about, what I'm getting at is people are going to hate the gospel. So it's kind of hard to, I guess what I'm saying is you see the modern churches trying to sugarcoat everything. It's all about money, it's just kind of like the music thing, people, you can stay true. I mean, let's face it, as big as a lot of these people are, if they did drop their level and went independent, they can make a very, very comfortable living and just tour and stuff. But it's almost like you want more, 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 more. And you can see that in the modern church too. People want more people and more people, more people. So we're going to, going to, like I said, just kind of sugarcoat everything and make, I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, that's what we say. We say, hey man, you're selling out, right? You're selling out, taking the edge off. And so, but I'm going to play at the Bluebird Cafe, I'm going to play at Tootsie's or whatever it is these days. And so, but I think you can, and that is true. No doubt about it. I think what we miss there is, can you really put a lot of, like you said, go independent. You're talented, you go independent, you know how it works, you're going to travel, you're going to get the word out, but you're not making those substantive changes so you can just take the edge off of what you're saying. I think there's some similarities there.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that we, because the humans are humans, it really drives us to really get down there at the end of the day. And so I think that's pretty fascinating, the way, that's pretty interesting. Well, cool. In that light of that, this is kind of one reason we're pushing on the Music City Grand Prix. It's a great event, ton of people downtown, and a great opportunity to get together and fellowship. Give us an update on it. What's been going on?
Just kind of preparing, doing some stuff. We got the campground. Looks like it's all lined out and everything as far as arrival times and all that kind of stuff. I think everything's been updated online. But yeah, looking forward to it. We got the campground settled. Looks like we're gonna Probably not going to be going out to the track, but we'll be preaching downtown. There's going to be a lot going on down there, from what I understand, and there'll be a shuttle, I think, going out to the track. So I don't know if you ever been out to that track, but that thing is massive. I've never seen one in real life. Man, that speedway, super speedway, or whatever they call it out there. I went out there and checked it out, and doesn't look like be a very many spots to. Doesn't be like there really be any, since it's fenced off to preach. But anyway, we know Nashville. And if you've been to Nashville before, it's a wonderful town. We got several places to go, and there's always so many people. I mean, we could stay till well into the night if we wanted. We'll probably shut it down after a long day, but I mean, it's wonderful down there. It's every day we get a new crowd. So, but yeah, everything seems to be coming together. I think there's 9 or 10 of us so far that signed up. So there's going to be 24 spots. So if you want to come, get signed up. And I think payment's due the 30th or something. So if you want to secure a spot, we're going to have to cut it off at 24. So.
Cool. You went out there to take a look at the campground. Tell us about the campground.
Campground's neat. Well, I don't think we're obviously not going to have time to do very much stuff, but the camp, I don't know what he was. I guess it's the guy that works at the camp, counselor or whatever. He took me around and showed me everything. I mean, it's a pretty nice camp right there on the lake. I mean, they got zip line. He's like, you want to go zip lining or whatever? Just let me know. Man, I don't know if too many of us are gonna be wanting to do that after a long day. But yeah, they got all sorts of stuff out there. It's a full-fledged camp and kitchen. We'll be having breakfast out there each morning. I think possibly dinner on Thursday, and then breakfast the next 3 days. And it's a full-fledged kitchen. They'll be serving food in there and all that. And we've got a couple, they call them yurts, I think, and it'll be some bunks in each of them for all of us. And then there's it's like a little area called Tortuga Village, is what they call that side of the camp. And it's Tortuga Village. We're able to park right there by it. And then there's a Tortuga Lodge right there on it, where they got a refrigerator and stuff in there for anybody who wants to bring their stuff. And it's got showers in there. And then obviously a place we'll be doing worship and teaching and fellowshipping and all that for those 3 days. So really nice place. Ought to be a good time. So hopefully the weather will be nice too. September. I've been up here for, I don't know, 9 years or so, and I can't ever remember. I think September's nice. I know it'll be better than August, because last August we got fried over there at the Grand Prix. It was so hot, but I think September will be a little bit better. So you can bring your fishing poles if you want, but I don't think you're gonna have time to fish.
Well, somebody hasn't been to Nashville before and preached down on Broadway. Just give us a couple of stories about what it's like down there.
Well, it's busy. There's always foot traffic, depending on where you're at. If you're at, a lot of times, well, and I'm learning from a lot of these other guys. Last year, probably do the same thing. As far as we set up in 3 different spots in the city. Country Music Hall of Fame, that's a real good place to preach. I preached there. I preached there a few weeks ago. I go every now and then by myself. It's real quiet. There's a speaker across the street that plays a little bit of country music, but it's not super loud. And it's just there's people crossing the street right there. So they're always stopping and kind of waiting for the light to change. So the Country Music Hall of Fame is a very good spot. And then the pedestrian bridge. And what's good is we're going to have all that this year, because originally the track was going to run right through the middle of Broadway and all that. So it's going to be really loud probably, and it's going to be kind of tough for a couple of those spots. But now that they're having it at the super speedway, we got the whole town back. So it ought to be quieter. And the pedestrian bridge is a real good quiet place. A lot of people walking across the river and all that kind of stuff. And we switched the teams up. We'll switch the teams up every day, so you're not going to be in the same spot twice. Shouldn't be. But Broadway is kind of different. When we go down to Broadway, it's really loud. You got to turn it up a little bit more. A lot more people. Obviously, a lot more people drinking down there than they would be farther up. But yeah, just lots and lots of people. And it seems to me one of the good things about Broadway, I don't think everybody. It's not like a football game where everybody's got somewhere to be and they need to get there, so they don't really have time to stop and talk. But I think on what's neat about Nashville is they're all mostly tourists, so yeah, they want to get to where they're going, but they're also more apt to stop and have a one-on-one conversation with you. Um, Obviously, which leaves more chances to give them the gospel, obviously. But I'm just saying it's kind of laid back as far as that goes. Not everybody's in just a huge hurry to get where they're going. They're probably just going to go, sit down at a bar or something or meet a friend. So really great town. Like I said, we get a new crowd every day. Um, in the South, you always, we've all heard you got to convince somebody they're not saved before they can be saved because, there's so many people Christians in the South, professing Christians. But Nashville's got people from everywhere. I mean, that's the cool thing about it. You're going to run into people that are, admitted atheists and things like that. So it's not just Southern people here, which is neat. I meet people from all over the world here. So wonderful town for this. So.
David Day asked, was an ordinance passed where the bars can't blast music out in the street?
Yeah, that supposedly had passed. But on 5th and Broadway right there, I don't know how they're doing it. They have a band. I hear them every Friday afternoon when I'm out there. You can still hear them. It's not, I mean, we're still able to preach. Everything's fine. I don't have to crank it up super loud. But what it is the second floor of that bar. I can't remember the name of it, but I guarantee David knows where I'm talking about. But you're at 5th and Broadway. It's catty cornered there. And I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, the second floor, all the windows go up and stuff. They're not necessarily blasting it on the street, but you can definitely hear the music there. Their band is kind of tucked away in the corner up there, so it's not like facing the street. But yeah, they supposedly passed that law. I honestly forgot about it till he brought it up just now. So, but I don't know if I'm just used to it, or if it's any less loud down there. I don't know, but something I'm gonna definitely try to keep my eye on that when I go out this Friday. See if that's something that.
Didn't you tell me too? They're closing off Broadway at a certain time of night.
Yeah, I don't know if like during the winter time they do, but yeah, at night. I know John Coble goes down there a lot at night. I've been down there with him, and it's pretty neat. But they'll at a certain time they shut Broadway down completely, and then everybody's just walking in the streets and stuff. I mean, it's packed. It's pretty neat. So when I've been with John and then at night, we'll preach one way, obviously not towards the street, but towards the sidewalk. And then once they shut the road down and switch the speakers around, because everybody's out in the street and crossing and everything else, it's really neat. But I don't know if they do it during the winter months when it's less busy down there, but there's always people down there. But especially this time of year, I'm pretty sure they do. I don't know if that's every night or just on the weekends, by the way. You have to ask John Coble about that.
Nashville's probably one of the top 5 cities. Nashville, Las Vegas, Toronto. Of course, London's the cream of the crop, but I'm sure New York City would fit in there somewhere. But those are great cities. It's just unbelievably busy, and just with foot traffic, it's unbelievable if you've never been down there. And then they have those. They just attract a lot of people. The Country Music Hall of Fame, and all those. Someone said like it's the Bachelorette destination in the United States, something like that. There's just a lot of things they've done to market the city well. So it's a huge, unbelievable crowd, things you never see before.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I'm always, whenever I'm passing out tracks, I can always, or when I'm just down there in general, it's always, somebody's always getting married. So I always, congratulations, I always tell them congratulations. I get to the track.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's a lot of them. A lot of them getting married and coming here. So.
Is anybody coming to speak that you've talked to, or?
No, yeah, nobody. Well, I mean, as far as outside of the outreach, no. I need to talk to Heath. I know he's on here. I've been meaning to get with him this past week. But yeah, I'm hoping he'll speak with us, and haven't figured out who else I'm gonna get yet. as far as team leaders, I think last time I asked him, he said he would lead a team, and then I think John Coble's going to lead one. So I don't know if I'm going to take the third or just I don't know, get somebody else to do it. Go find a coffee shop or something. No, I probably, I don't know. I don't want to be involved, obviously, but we'll see. I'm going to see. So we'll see what we're going to do about the third person. But so far it was Heath and John. But I'm not worried about that. We've got there's so many. Terry Cohees, I think, is coming. I know Frank Rolberg is. So
there you go.
Nashville's easy. So I'm sure anybody would be willing to. Well, it's just fun, and you know what I mean by easy. It's all these guys have been there before, and they know the spots and all that. So I think it'll be. He said he needs to register. Yeah, there's 24 spots, but I bet we can get him in. If not,
Heath, we need to get Ty from the Whitfield train to come down from Clay Hall's church and talk to him, get him to come down. So we'll get some more
I think I messaged him with my last invite video, but I'm gonna I was supposed to do it this weekend, but I sat at that guitar shop all day Saturday. But I'm going to make another one here.
Okay.
Hopefully this weekend. But yeah, I wanted to invite Ty and Clay and all them up there. So
gotcha.
John, it's funny the two team leaders I mentioned, like he said he hadn't registered. John hadn't registered either. I meant to message John too. Be like, man, I might want to get you in on that.
That's funny. That's funny.
So
cool. Is David Day coming? Is he on the list?
I don't think so. He's planning on it, and I think he's got some plans. Wife going out of town or something. So, but we're gonna miss him. Yeah, I missed him at Bonnaroo too, but at least I got to see him at the Derby. So
David's he's getting soft on us. I'm not sure what's happening. He's getting soft. I'm saying that to him, but he's. David, you need to eat some. Get some more raccoon meat going. Raccoon ice. Get back. Get back to the game.
I bet if I told him we're having raccoon at the camp, he'd probably.
He could hunt his own raccoon. They got raccoon.
Start packing.
David, you could go out there and chase it down at night. Have like something.
Yeah, think about all them raccoons there are in the woods over there out by the lake. I bet they're just everywhere. We can get some traps to have it. So
probably get a grill out there. Get some. I'm sure they got a fire pit. Place got fire pits and put raccoon out there all night. I'll tell you the Tabasco sauce or something.
There you go.
Anything else to share about it? It's just an unbelievable opportunity to go down there. You can't say that enough. And the fellowship is good and all those good things. Anything else to share about it?
Yeah, no, it's I know it's going to be a good time. All these outreaches are so wonderful. Like I said, we love our church family and things like that. But since I started doing this a year or so ago or whatever, I'm always amazed at how much I'm filled with so much joy to be fellowshipping with these guys, and like I said, just like-minded believers that have a heart for the lost, and it's wonderful to get out there and preach, and that just be praying together every day and fellowshipping and eating together and everything else. It's just there's nothing like it. So I'm looking forward to it, and sign up if you want to come. Like I said, there's 24 people, and we got about 9, I think, so far, 9 or 10. So,
all right, what's your number and or email if somebody wants to contact you about it?
Yeah, my number is 615-674-5267, and my email on the website I think is Benjamin Gonzales with an S, 1983 at Gmail. And if you want to come, just email me. Info at SFOI.org, I think is what it is. You just got to let them know you're coming, and then you may need some paperwork if you don't have that in already. But yeah, let us know. We're looking forward to it.
Cool. All right, Ben. Anything else to share before we go?
No, I think that's about it. Cool. Just looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Cool. Sounds good. Okay. Thanks for being on today. Look forward to being with you, Lord willing, soon. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Ben.
All right, Bill. Be careful.
I'm in Nashville, unbelievable place. Getting in there, it's really one of the top 3 cities. Like I said, Las Vegas, amazing place. Nashville, Toronto, lots of foot traffic, and what you might see is, New York City is just another class in the United States. But those 2 cities in the states are, I don't think I've seen any other city in the United States other than Nashville and Las Vegas have this constant foot traffic. So all that means is gospel preaching ministry all day long. Just get down there, get after it. And then Toronto up in Canada. Of course, London is the premier place as far as I'm concerned. I think David thinks the same thing. So, but it's a great, great place. Lots of traffic. They let things go, and there's lots of people everywhere. It's not really an uptight place up there. They get a little flag, but nothing certainly that's legal. We can't deal with, that's for sure. So Ben's doing a great job. He's been preaching a couple years, and so it's good to be with him up there under his leadership, and the guys up there, John and Robert and Terry and a bunch of guys. I think David Corey's up there as well. A bunch of folks up there in Nashville preaching, and so it's just a good group of guys to go and connect with as well. And then you got like Frank down there in North Alabama, Adam, and maybe some of those guys in Manchester, guys in Kentucky. So it should be a good group of guys as well. So listen, sign up. You got the link that flew by there, and you got Ben's number and email. So contact him and join him. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.